G'day everyone, and welcome to another wonderful episode of the Joey Wiggle Experience. And we have a very, very special guest with you today because he has done quite a lot over the past 50 years. He is, I think, one of the best Vaudevillian acts in Australia, and he has performed as a children's entertainer for decades and even wrote a very famous song about Wangaratta. Please welcome to the show, Mick Conway. Welcome to the podcast, Mick.
Thanks, Joey. Pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you here, mate. And what a setup you've got there. And it's a very nice hat you're wearing. What is that called?
What's that?
Oh, the hat you're wearing. I said it was a really nice hat.
It's a beret.
Yeah. Oh, beret. I was trying to figure out what it was. Yeah, it looks really great on you.
Oh, thanks very much. I forgot I had it on, actually. But anyway, there we go.
That's all right. Oh, so Mick, it's great to have you on the show. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I think, because vaudeville is hard to bring back, obviously, with the, a lot of television, a lot of social media. But you, my friend, have been trying to keep it alive for a very long time. So tell us from the very beginning, what was your inspiration? What was your childhood like?
Well, my childhood was very ordinary suburban, but my parents were escapees from the music and the vaudeville scene. So on my father's side, they were vaudevillians, and my mother's side, they were singers. So I had no choice. So I just ended up being a performer. I didn't ever intend to be a performer. I was going to be an art teacher or something like that. I was good at art, and I thought I'd do that. But never, I got the piece of paper. But I basically started off as a joke, taking the mickey out of rock and roll bands and at school. And we had a little talent quest, and never expected that the joke would turn into a career. But that's what it did.
It's wonderful because it's I think it's it's hard to bring it back, like I mentioned, because obviously television kind of took over that that part of the art, but having watched it through some of the old movies and then watching you perform, it's a very interactive kind of art piece, and it's like something that and even watching some of the videos of you performing for children, there'd be a bunch of times where you would have what's it called, a noise board. So you would have a noise machine with you on stage, and you would do all of the instruments of the sound of a train, and then you would have the, I don't know, what do you call the engine on the board. It's just so
sound effects and
the sound effects, exactly. And just watching that, it looks very, very, very entertaining. Just wanted to mention that because it's just it's just marvelous.
In the film industry, where they call it Foley, and that's
Foley. That's right. Yeah, that's what I meant.
They have gravel pits where people stomp over gravel wherever it's a walking, or and the trains in the distance will be a train whistle, etc. But mine was just a rack with a whole lot of noises on it, which I did actually do. One of the TV shows that the early Wiggles did, they used me with a whole rack, and much bigger rack of sound effects and things like that, which was great fun, because I'd never actually been a Foley artist as such. I'd always just added silly noises to my songs.
I mean, it is really fun. Like, I've seen videos of there's a bunch of people. I mean, there's footage back in the day of the Disney artists doing Foley, and it's just, it really takes a while to appreciate how they manage to make it sound so cartoony. And I think that's what draws people to watch these performances, because they make it very cartoonish. It feels cartoonish, like the sound of a wallet. I mean, that's someone using an old wallet to make it sound like creaky footsteps, and then someone using a little ball and a balloon to make it sound like a dizzy spell. I think that, and also coming back to you, I think that's what makes Foley artists very entertaining to watch. And I think particularly for you use that as part of your performance, and just watching the footage of you performing, it seems like some of the most enjoyable kind of entertainment out there.
It's fun. It's fun.
It is really fun to watch.
I was just like a kid in a lolly shop. I just wanted to try everything, and Foley was one of those things that really attracted me to to performance, yeah, and breaking celery sticks to make crunching sounds, and
Oh, it's so fun to watch. So let's go back all the way from, it's a long time, back to the 1960s when you first started performing in a band called the Captain Matchbox Whoopee Band. So tell me how that all got started.
well, as I said before, I had a little. It was just a talent quest at school, which there was a lot of school kids forming rock bands to go in the talent quest. So we thought we'd form a jug band because we thought that'd be funny and people wouldn't take it seriously. But it just went off really well. People loved it, and we won the talent quest. And then we got invited to play, at what in those days were folk clubs in Melbourne. Started in Melbourne, and Captain Matchbox Whoopee Band came out of that, and suddenly it became a career for us, which we never planned on. It was one of an accidental career.
It seems very, and also what I really like about what was I going to say? Because some of the footage I've watched as well, because there's one of you, because you performed on Countdown a couple of times yourself, haven't you?
Yes, a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the songs in particular later became the theme song, I think, for Wangaratta, what's it called? The Wangaratta Wine?
Yeah.
Wayne, yeah, Wangaratta Wayne. And there's footage of you. And honestly, as a young man, it's honestly it's very, very. I feel like it's so modern now. Just looking at younger you with the ponytail and the little mustache, it's like you that would have totally taken off today, still, without a doubt.
Oh yeah, I'm not really sure. But anyway, but you might be right. It was
just like anyone who rocks up like that, and it's because you see some of those it's hard to describe what kind of bands they are, but they usually just do like they do folk songs, but then they always do like a little wacky side to it. You totally fit in with that genre for sure, with that song, and just walking in with the Hawaiian shirt being like Wangaratta.
Yeah. Well, we were having fun with it all, and we just decided to write a song with a story in it, and we never expected that song to be a hit. It wasn't one of, we had released 2 singles, and none of the radio stations had played the singles. And then they saw us play at this Sunbury Rock Festival down at Sunbury in Melbourne, or near Melbourne, and they suddenly the radio stations were onto it, and they played that song, which was, in those days they never played more than 2.5 minutes, but Wangaratta Wahine track was actually 5.5 minutes, and
5.5. Really?
They kept playing
Oh, wow.
on rotation. We're thinking, what the hell? Anyway, that was pretty funny. But anyway, we were very pleased that they played something.
And also, because it was on Countdown as well. And back in those days, I don't think a lot of young people realize it, but being on Countdown especially back in the 70s, was such a big deal too. So that would have meant like a lot to actually be able to perform the song on Countdown.
Oh, it did. It meant it just broke the band completely. We really, people all knew about us, and it meant that we really did have a full-time career going on.
Oh, it's just I definitely got to listen to the song again, because it's actually really, really catchy as well. Because I only started listening to it a week ago, and now I find it hard to stop listening to it.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
It's a very catchy song. Brilliantly catchy. So what else? So now let's go into the 80s. So I think it was around this time. So when did it you start performing for children? When did you decide, I'm going to use what I've done for audiences in Australia, adult audiences, and I'm going to bring it for children as entertainment? So when did that come around?
That was late 80s, 1980s, and look, in some ways, the Captain Matchbox Whoopee Band was kind of like a kids band in itself, but it wasn't meant to be a kids band. But it had a lot good things about that meant it was, appealed to all ages. But it was around that time that I was asked to do. We did a dinosaur album. My brother and I, Jim Conway, and we did dinosaur songs. So a whole lot of songs about dinosaurs. And then from that, the ABC then asked us to ask me to do kids album, and because the dinosaur album sold really well, and they bought that, and then they'd asked me to be. In those days, there was a kind of a stable of ABC artists. They don't really have that anymore, but it became a really big thing, and that's where I started working with all these different really good performers, and so I was there doing that, and it was quite a. I was also working. I started working in schools, just part of the time, and doing night shows and day shows and all kinds of things, but schools also. So I was doing it's sort of an educational kind of approach to anything from preschools to high schools, and that was good. So it was around that time that I didn't have the Captain Matchbox Band anymore, but we just had started doing a lot of, and it wasn't a big jump really from Captain Matchbox to doing kids shows, which we really enjoyed, and I also did doing the school things as well, and the ABC. The first album that I did with the ABC won an ARIA award, and that was
Whoopee, that's right, yeah.
And
it must have been a good feeling too, yeah.
Yeah,
winning an ARIA award for that
was quite a surprise. I didn't expect to get that, and also there was the Wiggles were performing, and they were taking off really big in the early 90s.
Because I was going to say, Mick, because being a part of the ABC, especially during that time, it must have been really big as well. Like, I know the Wiggles were starting around 2, and obviously like 5 years later they would just take off, but I reckon back then too, because they did do those ABC for Kids concerts, and multiple performers would perform at the same time. So you, Monica Trapica, the Wiggles, Gillian Easter, etc., all those kind of people. So it must have been back then. I'm not sure about today, but back then it must have been quite a big deal, because obviously the ABC were just absolute rulers of like children's entertainment.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and it was a very exciting time, and you're doing these performances with all these different acts and performers, and but of course the Wiggles took off very quickly from that. Yeah, so they were
must have been hard. So I was going to say, must have been really hard to be an entertainer 5-10 years later. Oh, dang it, the Wiggles have taken all the shows.
No, it depends on what you do. If you're trying to do the same thing, but yeah, they were such nice people, and I used to go busking with the Wiggles. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, we used to go out and that was in Sydney. I mean, I was originally in Melbourne, but I'd moved to Sydney by the 80s. And we used to go out to various shopping centres and Circular Quay and Chatswood and places and busk, and just for fun. We weren't really trying to make money or anything, but with John Field was the singer he used to be in the Cockroaches, but Anthony's brother, and
Jeff.
various people, and we would have these incredible little busking things where I mean, one of the incidents there was great fun. We did a thing at I think it was at Chatswood, and Anthony had these 2 dogs. They were I forgot what the kind of dogs, small dogs though, and but they were very possessive about Anthony and didn't like anyone, being too close. And so Anthony thought it would be fun if I did because I did a bit of tap dancing. So I did a bit of tap dancing, and the dogs would come yapping at my feet, and that went on for quite a number of times. And I thought, oh, this is everyone thought it was hilarious, and they were laughing every time I tap danced. The dogs would go berserk, chomping at my feet. But that night, I got home. When I took my shoes off, I had all this blood on my ankle.
Oh, what?
That was hilarious. That's right, and also the other thing that stole the show sometimes when we did these busking things was I remember this little kid, like he was probably no more than 3 or 4, just absolutely in love with the Wiggles, of course, and kind of recognised that, even though it wasn't officially a Wiggles gig, it was just us mucking around having fun. He started dancing in front of us and stole the show, of course. Little kids do in that situation. And at the end, there was people put money in, even though we weren't really asking for money. But a few weeks later, we didn't watch him or anything like that. But a few weeks later, his mother found out what my address was and sent me a check. I know this is old-fashioned time because we didn't have checks now, but sent me a check because he'd taken some of the money out of the guitar case.
Oh,
so we were ripped off by a 3-year-old. But anyway, she was so embarrassed. She found her son had all this money, and I thought that was just priceless. I don't ever cash the check. I just thought that's just fantastic. He didn't take it all.
Wait, he took money out. Wait, sorry, he took money out of the guitar case.
Yeah, out of the guitar.
Stole the show and then decided, that's my share.
No one saw him do it, but it was a fantastic moment, and we only found out later that that's what he'd done. But and she was. She said an apology, and I said, "Don't apologise. It's just a fantastic thing to do, and we just can't believe that no one actually saw him do it." But anyway, that's what happened.
Oh wow, that's really funny. What a story too. Can I just say, what a story for the Wiggles community? Little 3-year-old stealing the show, deciding to take money afterwards.
The other story in the early days of the Wiggles, which I was. Early days, I suppose your fans are old enough to know this, but
they'll be old enough, yeah.
Dorothy the dinosaur was very new, and the person who was basically in Dorothy's suit was a young 16-year-old girl, apparently. But anyway, she got sick and couldn't make it, and they did have a reserve, but they couldn't reach the reserve, so they rang me up in a panic because they had this show at Chatswood Town Hall. And there's all the ABC people were coming to see the show, and they just needed Dorothy to make an appearance. And so I rushed over there and got into the suit while the show was going. I'd never done it before, and I knew what she did. And I had to push a little lawnmower around with a rose in his mouth and all that sort of stuff. And I was getting stage whispers telling me what to do and where to go. I had no idea, and I could not. The thing about it was, the suit was about 5 sizes too small for me. I couldn't see anything, could barely move. So the people realised, apparently they did realise there was something odd about Dorothy that day.
What's wrong with Dorothy, Mum?
And then at the end of the show, the ABC people came in who were my record company as well. And they saw me. They said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well," and I pointed to the Dorothy suit. Just about everybody fell about laughing. That was good.
Oh, that must have been. See, and I said this before because I actually had Terry Murray and Gillian Easter on the show a couple of weeks ago, and talking to them, what I noticed is that a lot of kids acts today, like because I watched the performances that you guys do for those ABC for Kids shows back in the early 90s compared to now,
right?
And you can see such a comparison because it's like back then it looks more fun and it doesn't look like it's just for kids because like the adults are enjoying themselves too. The problem is like obviously it is a kid show, but you want to make sure you keep the adults entertained, and I think that's what I really like about the early ABC for Kids concerts, because it looks like they weren't particularly made for kids. They were just they appealed to kids, but adults can enjoy them just as much. And I think just hearing that story and hearing, the fact that the Whoopee, oh God, I'm so sorry, the Whoopee, the Whoopee Band, the Whoopee Matchbox Whoopee Band was originally for, was it
adults.
Originally for adults? Yeah, and then all of a sudden kids started to enjoy it just as much. And I think that's what's really magical about those kind of shows, is that when it appeals to everyone and not just a certain group. And that's what I think a true entertainer is that someone who can entertain children but also at the same time keep the adults engaged too, so then they can watch the show with their kids and not be thinking, oh, they look cringy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, I think that you've hit on this the secret of the Wiggles. Before, in fact, that they were good for everyone.
Yeah.
So that was they just appealed to all ages, and adults and the parents of the little kids and things like that loved the boppy music, and it was such fun. Yeah.
And even in the early days, because even when you were performing with the Wiggles in those ABC for Kids concerts, did you ever imagine looking at them then and then thinking, oh, these guys are amazing. I think they're going to really take off. Like, was it just a massive surprise when they started performing in arenas and then soon after that, going to America, performing at Disneyland, and then all of a sudden getting picked up by the people who make the Barney the Dinosaur videos, and then they're taking off on Playhouse Disney and they're just popular everywhere. It must have been such an amazing feeling just to think, wow, just to think that they were performing in small theaters and schools, and now they're playing at Madison Square Garden. It's just, it must have just been astounding.
No, it was. I was just gobsmacked by their success, which was, I mean, well deserved. Mind you, I didn't think that was a bad thing. I thought it was absolutely fantastic that they just absolutely skyrocketed to fame. But I didn't really ever. I don't think even they expected that it would be an international kind of hit like it was, but it was.
Yeah, and I think like I said earlier, I think it's also because they managed to appeal to everyone as well, like not just kids. Like kids have something to enjoy. The parents can listen to these songs too and not be like, ugh.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that did actually happen sometimes, not with the Wiggles, but with other acts that really, you go, well, please try a bit harder, would you?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, but and I got to had the pleasure of also doing a duet with Greg Wiggle or Greg Page on my second album. He did a song with me on that, and that was great fun. We did a little video, and he was just terrific those days.
I think a lot of people want to see, because a lot of people haven't even, I think we've seen a short promo of the video because ARIA uploaded it as part of their best children's album. But I think a lot of people wanted to know, because there's a lot of people in the Wiggles community who are super obsessed about finding rare concert videos or any collaborations they did back in the day. I think a lot of them would have loved to have seen the collaboration you did with Greg, if it's still out there somewhere or if there's a copy.
I've got a copy of it somewhere. I don't know how
to. They would go mental. Believe me, Mick. They would go ballistic.
Well, they can have it. But it was good fun. No, it was really good fun doing it. And my daughter, who is now almost 30, not quite 29, she was in that as a baby in the little video clip that we did, which is. So I have special of that.
Yeah, it must have been a fun time. Now, speaking of the Wiggles, because obviously I think a lot of us, like I mentioned, a lot of people in the Wiggles community would also remember you because you worked with the Wiggles during the 90s, the early days in particular, up until the 2000s. And I think a lot of people would also remember you for appearing in the Wiggles movie as Jimbo, the juggler. And we got an image there right now.
And I was also the postman.
Yeah, the postman as well. Yeah, the one who got chased by Wags the dog.
Band, yes, as well. So that was fun. But there's Jimbo the juggler. Yep.
And it must have been. What was that experience like? Because also the Wiggles were, like I said, they were starting to take off, and then all of a sudden, then making a movie by 20th Century Fox. It must have been, oh my God, like this is actually getting bigger than I could possibly imagine.
Yeah, no, it was incredible to see. Yeah, it really was. It was very exciting.
Must have been, yeah. And also, I think a lot of people would recognize you as, because when Wags the dog finally started talking, you were also the voice of Wags the dog.
Yes.
Not like the barking voice, like the talking voice.
Yes, well, there was quite a long time for a year or two where they were saying, "Oh, Wags can't speak and he can't be talking." And I said, "Well, I said, "You got a talking dinosaur there." Anyway,
Yeah,
so,
a talking dinosaur and a talking octopus. Why can't there be a
that's right.
talking dog?
That's why not a talking dog. That's exactly it. Anyway, that's what happened. So it just took
Yeah.
a while, a few years, and but I used to have these amazing recording sessions with them, where I would just be barking into a microphone without quite loosely, and in reactions to things, and or whining or being happy, or happy barks and all the sad barks and all this sort of stuff, and it was quite a bizarre kind of experience to do the recording sessions for them.
Yeah, and also because it was also part of the TV show, which would eventually be shown all over the world. So I don't know what because if that was me and that was my first major role, I'd be so proud to be like, I'm Wags the dog, and the whole world knows I'm Wags the dog.
No, well, you couldn't talk about it in those days because the audience was so young.
Yeah,
Wags the dog was Wags the dog. There's no,
yeah.
he wasn't anyone else. But anyway.
And also, like I mentioned, because you performed with the Wiggles for many, many years too, particularly in their live shows. There was also I think it was the live circus show where you performed with the Wiggles and
Yes.
Sam during the time.
Yeah, that was great fun. And that one, that's another one. That's what's it called? The song. Anyway, we did do the live performances around Australia, doing big halls and things. They work big, but also I did do it. Fronted the song for, I forgot what the name is. It's a ragtime, really old ragtime song. But anyway, that's good fun.
Yeah, and also because when you look at the live shows too with the Wiggles when they're doing the circus acts, it's definitely a big step up from wherever they started from when they were just performing on stage in a small stage for kids, and then to see them grow and grow and grow, and now they're doing circus acts on stage. It's like it must have been also because they grew to the point where like we could make this bigger than it possibly could, and the show can be really interactive. And I think that's what makes the Wiggles stand out so much. Not only one, they're very, very talented, but two, they're willing to take on all these challenges and risks. And I think that's what made the Wiggles really popular too, because there was also the documentary that came out a few years ago where they talked about the early troubles they had with the group and the people who thought, it wasn't going to work, but they just persisted on, and they were like, this is going to work. I just feel it. And it did. Like they took risks and challenges, and here they are now.
Yeah. No, I admire them entirely for everything they did. But Anthony was such a driver of all that stuff as well, and full of ideas. And but they worked really well together. It wasn't sometimes with most bands there's and there probably are with them, but I never saw it. People have different opinions and can get quite heated, but with the Wiggles they just seem to work really well together, which was a real eye opener. It was fantastic to see.
Yeah. Oh, so I just got a message from my co-host. I think that the song you were talking about was Alabama Jubilee. I think that's the one. That's the one. Yeah.
I'm an old bloke. It went out my brain. You have when you get to my age.
Yeah.
The Alabama Jubilee. That's a great song from the Sam era. Alabama Jubilee.
That's it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm only about I'd say 50 years off from being able to remember this much. It's
Darby's on the case.
Yeah, Darby's on the case. Darby knows his stuff. He knows how to, because I grew out of the Wiggles after Greg left. So yeah, Darby knows his stuff. He's a bit younger than me, so he'll know the songs better than I do. But I think what I like about the Wiggles too, Mick, is the fact that they've also done the reunion shows. Because again, I reckon if they just did the reunion shows, they could just be in a. It's going to sound silly. They could just be an adult band just because they know that the audiences who are going to turn up to the OG reunion shows are people who grew up with the OG era in the early 2000s, 90s. And they know. I mean, yeah, it would be a lot of time to give up because obviously, when you spend all that time touring around the world, like the Wiggles have, obviously, you got to make sacrifices. You miss certain, events, and it can be, a challenge.
Yeah, any touring band that's like, but they really toured hard. Yeah.
Yeah, because in the early days too, they performed about, particularly in the early years, when they were just starting to take off. Anthony mentioned that they performed about, I think it was Murray as well. They performed 500 shows a year, 10 or 11 months per year, particularly in the 90s. And you think about it, and it's like that is a lot of time. That is multiple shows a day, and also, to be away from your family for that long, while entertaining other families around the world. I mean, in Australia too, it's, it can be hard. It can be
Yeah,
really
it can
hard.
be.
And hands down to the Wiggles for, really committing to that. I mean, it can be hard.
And hands down to their families for coping with it too.
Oh God, yeah, hands down to their families for coping with that too. It's a long time.
Yeah, it is. It's incredible.
I'd be interested to know, Mick, do you have a favourite Wiggles song? There's so many to choose. There's a catalogue of about a billion wiggly tracks.
One of the first, I mean, I did co-write some songs with John Field,
of course,
Anthony's brother. But I particularly loved, and that was one of the early ones, was Let's Wiggle, Let's Wiggle, Let's Wiggle, da 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 da. That
Get Ready to Wiggle?
Sorry? Get Ready to Wiggle, yeah.
Their very first song.
Yeah, that was from the debut album and became one of their, their big hits.
Yeah, it was a theme to all their shows, and
it was actually how they got the name for the band too. That was actually the secret behind. I mean, that was the inspiration behind the naming of the Wiggles too.
Oh, was it?
Get Ready to Wiggle. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they just said, oh, that's how children move around. They just wiggle. So that's how they got the name the Wiggles.
You mentioned you were, co-writing songs on various albums. Do you have a favourite album that you worked on?
Oh, I didn't really work on any album per se. What would happen is Anthony would give me a call and say, come into the studio, we're writing songs, and have you got any ideas? And then I would go off either by myself, but mostly with John, Anthony's brother, and sometimes it would be Anthony saying, I want you to write a song. Like he wanted me to co-write a song with John about the big red car, but because that had been such a success, it was a follow-up to that. So we wrote a follow-up to that. I mean, that's just one of the examples, but I don't know I don't think it quite reached the heights of the original Wiggles big red car, but it, I felt honoured to be asked.
Was so it was a follow-up to the because I know they did a couple of songs about the big red car, and the one that everyone remembers and loves the most is obviously Toot Toot Chugga Chugga Big Red Car. Yeah. So you're saying there was another song?
There was a song called Big Wriggle, the big red car is coming back. I can't remember what it was called, but it went on some recording. Often I didn't actually get hit to hear the final product.
The big red car is coming back. Oh, that would be an interesting track to hear. Don't know how that would have gone. Do you remember how the song went, or?
It's a long time ago.
No, that's all right.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
I should have researched it before I came here, but I didn't. There was a few songs that we did, like that. The song about digestive song. The digestive song is another one of those songs that I wrote. That's on a number of their, or at least one of their videos or records or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know the digestive song at all? No.
I'm not sure. I might ask Darby if he knows.
Okay.
The digestive song.
It goes down, down, down. It talks about what happens when you swallow something, basically.
Do I know a song about the digestive system? I'm not too sure. I know the song "Vegetable Soup," but I don't know any.
I know, but it's called the digestive song.
The digestive song.
And
we'll have to put that out to the Wiggles community if anyone knows. Let us know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely on one of their videos or CDs. Anyway, I've heard it and I've got a copy of it somewhere. But yeah, on
Yeah.
probably the similar time that the Alabama Jubilee thing was on. Yeah.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah.
anyway
So it may have been a song perhaps from the Sam era. Do you recall, was it from the Sam era? If it was the Alabama Jubilee, that would have been around, yeah, when Sam Moran was in the yellow skivvy.
yeah, might be. I'm not sure. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Now there's some great albums from the Sam era and the Alabama Jubilee. Was that what album was that on? That was on Let's Eat. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see.
Yeah, there's so many great albums from the Sam and Greg eras. They're all great songs.
I think the digestive song was on Let's Eat. Yes.
Let's eat,
So.
let's eat, let's cook. Yeah, such a good song.
And speaking of which, because I know the Wiggles have the lineup's changed a lot over the years, but now that we've come to the present, I must ask Mick, what are your thoughts? I don't know if we've ever actually heard your thought. What are your thoughts on the current lineup of the Wiggles? They've expanded from 4 to 8 people, so it's a lot of wiggling in the background.
Yeah, no. Well, I think that you can't stay static. You can't stay still, and they've just moved with the times, and it's really well done. I mean, it's really clever.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they've got anyway. I don't think they can put a foot wrong. You know, they just seem to just get it right all the time. So if you're only a little kid, then you know I've got a granddaughter now who loves the Wiggles, and she doesn't know that I've ever had anything to do with it.
Oh, really?
And she just loves the Wiggles, and she loved Emma. I know Emma's not there now, but you know, and she's a big Emma fan and all that sort of stuff. And so I've now got a grandson now as well. So he's a bit too young to appreciate the Wiggles yet, but I reckon
Show him the Wiggles movie and be like, that's the Wiggles. It's me.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I just think what they've opened it up and made it much more kind of, you know, inclusive of all kinds of people, you know, race and sex and everything else. They've moved with the times, and I think that's good. And they're still writing really good songs. So, not that I'm writing them now, but but you know, they're really doing excellent work. So I just think, oh, well, that's great. I've sat with my daughter Joni through some of the Wiggle stuff, and she just loves it.
Yeah, they've really like you said, they've really moved the times. They've managed to expand to the point where now anyone can be a Wiggle. And I don't think it really matters who wiggles, because I know a lot of people have opinions of, oh, who should be a Wiggle? But it's like, it doesn't even matter, Mick. It really doesn't matter. Anyone can be a Wiggle.
Yeah, but so anyone who's got a little bit of talent.
Yeah. A little bit of talent and a little bit of wiggle. And jiggle.
Yeah, it's a real juggernaut. So they've got a lot to choose from, you know.
Yeah. And also the fact that they've lasted this long too. I mean, it's been nearly next year will mark the 35th anniversary of the band, the group, and it's like it's so astounding to think that, you know, they've lasted, they've stood the test of time. Like, a lot of children's acts would come and go, but they've really stood the test of time, and they've outlived pretty much all of them. And they've really become, honestly, in my opinion, I was going to say the kings and queens of children's entertainment. Really, they have.
Absolutely. Yep.
And to the fact that they've become globally loved too, all over the world.
And they're still really lovely people. There's been recently there was a documentary made about my brother and I, Mick and Jim Conway, called Whoopee Blues, is what it was called. My brother suffers from multiple sclerosis, and it was a very emotional roller coaster of a film, but really beautiful film. And Anthony came along and said very nice things, and came along and was interviewed for the film, and I was really chuffed that he took time out to come and do that. So he didn't have to do it; he didn't get paid or anything. He just and said lovely things about how I conducted my children's show, and what they claimed that he'd learnt a lot from me. But I'm not quite sure. I think he was just being nice. But anyway, that was very. But he did take time out to be part of this documentary, so that was lovely.
Yeah. Darby just got back. I think we got the name of the digestion song. It's called That's What You Call Digestion. So Darby really knows his stuff.
Oh, good on you, Darby. Okay, fantastic. That's right. That's what you call digestion. I couldn't. Yeah, and that's the key line. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going through the song list on the Let's Eat album, and I found That's What You Call Digestion. There you go.
Okay, well, thanks, Darby. Yeah, no, I should remember my own songs, but well, not, I was only one part of it, but anyway, that was good.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, now we come to the present now, and you have been touring around the country, doing your Vaudevillian show. So what's that been like?
Oh, that's good. When COVID hit, I had a band called the National Junk Band, which had been doing really well, but the COVID basically killed it off. But previous to that, I'd also been running a duo with a guy called Big Daddy Robbie Longlegs, and we do this little vaudeville show, which is full of magic and juggling and tap dancing and fire eating, and because I was in Circus Oz as well. I don't know if you know that, but and so Soapbox Circus and various things. But so that was just good to do that. And for the last few years, I've been working solely with that, just as a duo act with Robbie Long, and we've been touring around the country. And the other thing, that this film that I called Whoopee Blues has also been doing cinema releases all around the country, and I'm in some spots I'm traveling with it because often they want a Q&A at the end of it to talk about what happened in those days and things like that. So I've been doing that a lot sometimes with the film, and I'm doing that over the next month again a bit more, and maybe I'm hoping it'll get Whoopee Blues will get a release on streaming or something like that. I'm not the director or the producer, but I'm hoping it'll go somewhere. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm doing the odd shows. I've just been to Alice Springs where the film was showing, as well as me performing a couple of shows. That was great. But as an old bloke, I don't work nearly as hard as I used to. I know, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's like you've done your duty. It's like you've done all the things that a lot of people would love to do in their life: work with the Wiggles, perform around Australia, win an ARIA award too. How many people can say that?
Yeah, no, I did tour America and Britain as well, and I've been in lots of films and TV shows, and so I've had a really varied career. So that's been absolutely fantastic. So, but working with the Wiggles has certainly been one of my highlights. It's been they were just so good to work with, and I'm really grateful that they took the time to ask me to do things. So.
Yeah, I got another question from Darby, my co. Darby's sick with the cold at the moment, so that's why I'm answering some of the questions for him. But he's just asked me your experience in providing, if you remember it, providing narration for the Wiggles electronic storybooks for some reason. I don't know why he asked me that, but it's I think because the Wiggles did a lot of storybooks too on CDs, and he just wanted to ask what your experience was like doing the narration for that.
I can't remember, to be sorry. I
That's
remember
okay.
things like that and recording, going into the studio, but often you'd have to do it in isolation, so you wouldn't hear what the other things around it were. You just have to read lines and make noises or sing or something. But no, I don't.
Yeah, there's some. This is going back a long way back. There was they used to do picture storybooks, and your voice would be on it. Dorothy the dinosaur goes to hospital, or something along those lines. They used to have these picture storybooks that you would narrate all the time.
Yes, no, I did. I didn't. I don't remember what happened there, but I had to read things off like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right, Nick. I think with a long career like yours, it would be like having to remember that would be something.
Well,
yeah.
Probably I went into a studio, read the lines, and they said that's okay or not okay. It got me to do it properly anyway. And then I'd leave the studio and I'd never hear it again. So that's why I can't remember it.
That's okay. What about with Wag? Because we talked earlier about you voicing Wags the dog. Would it be because obviously there were scenes when he would be having dialogue with Captain Feathersword, for example? Would they usually be pre-recorded, or would you be there on the set to communicate with the captain? So then it's kind of like the dialogue is live.
No, it was all pre-recorded. I never got into the Wag suit, and it was just all pre-recorded, and I'd be given some sort of context for what I was having, the lines I was given, but I didn't actually didn't even hear what the previous line was that I was responding to.
So it would just be, you would say the lines and you wouldn't know what the context was before. Oh no, wait, you would know, but you wouldn't know who
Exactly.
would say what.
Yeah. No, I'd never hear it later either. They would just put it into their show, and they were happy with it. Of course, they'd oversee it. I mean, they weren't just letting me do anything. I mean, they were very keen that I was able to deliver the lines effectively to what was going on in the film clip. But it was all scripted, so I just had to say the lines.
Yeah, that must have been, again, like we mentioned, it must have been quite a time as well. Would you, like you mentioned earlier, would you say working with the Wiggles was the absolute highlight of your career?
No, it wasn't the highlight of my career, but I certainly so I had a lot of big highlights going on with the band and the music and the concerts that we did and things like that. They were great, but the Wiggles was certainly one of the highlights of my career in terms of being asked to do something which was quite out of left of center for me. I didn't expect to be kind of guesting with them at all, but it was just terrific to be part of their wonderful creative output.
Yeah, it must have been quite a time as well. So we're nearly at the end of the show, but before we wrap it up, Mick, I'd just like to ask you if you could have any advice, particularly for young performers or young people who would love to follow in your footsteps in terms of entertainment, what advice would you give to them?
Don't follow in my footsteps, number one. But if you want to make a career of it, I think if you can find your special niche that is kind of different from other people, and work on that and make that bigger and develop that, it's something that people will respond to, and if you can find that little niche that makes you stand out from everyone else, and make it your own, that's what I would advise them to. But I wouldn't advise them to do what I'm doing. I was like a kid in a lolly shop. I just wanted to do everything, and some of them I did quite well, and some of them I did quite badly.
But in terms of vaudeville as well, because obviously you've been doing all you can to keep vaudeville alive, would you encourage more vaudevillian acts in today's society, or do you feel like, no, they can't get to my level?
Oh no, I think vaudeville still exists in a different form. It's in variety shows where we've got different kinds of acts and dancers and jugglers, and they're still around, and tap dancers. People like that are everywhere. It's the vaudeville shows where you put it all together in one little kind of package, and some of them are more traditional, like ventriloquist dolls and things like that are more vaudeville. But I think it still exists, and it's never really gone away. It's just that what I did was I wanted to do all those different kind of variety acts, and so I kind of kept, that was just so fun to do. And learning to play the musical saw is a kind of a vaudeville show, but I just heard the musical saw being played, and I thought, I want to do that. And I found someone who'd show me the rudiments of it, and took it from there. Same with tap dancing. I just want to do that. It's like such fun, and keeps you fit as well. So those sort of things where it's just fun to do, and that I knew it was a direction that I wanted to go in anyway. So it was just good. Yeah, all fun.
Oh, it must be. And like I mentioned earlier, it's such a fun kind of performance. I'd love to see more of that today as well. And I'm so happy that you've managed to keep it alive. So thank you so much for that, Mick. And also, if there was in your own words, how would you love to be remembered in like 50 years time? You know, like when all of this is over and everyone's talking about, oh, I remember this and remember this. How would you personally like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered, full stop. But
As a Vaudevillian maestro.
well, I'd like to be remembered as multi-skilled, I guess.
Multi-skilled, good way. Yeah, good
And
point.
that's probably that's what I really enjoyed doing and always have enjoyed doing, and also trying to put, I think my shtick, as they call it, has been putting visuals to music. So it's always been about music first, and then making a visualizing with some sort of act to make the visuals fit with the music, and that's what I'm still doing now. So if people remember that, that would be fantastic. If they don't remember that, well, I'll be dead anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Don't worry. When this podcast goes up on, yeah, this podcast will be up, and I'm hopeful that more and more people will remember you after this all passes, especially the shows and the Vaudevillian acts and your time with the Wiggles in particular. I know a lot of my fans will enjoy that. But I really, like I said earlier, I really hope they remember you for your versatility when it comes to performing on stage, particularly with the Foley artistry as well, because it's something that we don't see as often, and I really, really wish we get more of that in the future. And I hope you've become an inspiration in some ways for that to continue on.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's been a lot of it. A lot of that Foley stuff's now been electronified and pre-recorded and all that. But it's fun doing it live. It's much more.
It
fun.
is, yeah. It is much better doing it live because then it's more human as well.
It is.
But anyway, yeah, thank you so, so much, Mick, for taking your time to speak with me, and a very sick Darby today.
Joey, yeah, get better, Darby. Look after yourself.
Thank you very much. It's been very nice meeting you.
Lovely to meet you too.
And I think, Darby, you requested, you have one more request for Mick Conway. Would you like to ask what it is?
Ah, yes. Would you be able to do a quick Wags the Dog impression?
I think I might like to play with the Wiggles.
That's
That is
so good.
That is so good, Mick. Thank you so much for taking the time and chatting with us. And thank you to all of our listeners today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, etc. Yeah, this airs everywhere. And thank you so, so much, Mick, for taking the time to chat with us. We really hope to have you back on soon. It is such a privilege to chat with you, mate.
A pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No worries. And thank you to all of our listeners. And Mick, would you like to sign off the show for us?
You have been listening to the Joey Wiggle Experience.
That's it.
That's it.
Thanks, Mick. See you later, everyone.
Thank
keep
you
on
so much.
wiggling.
Yeah, keep on wiggling. That's right.